Hey guys, welcome on in. Kyrios here, and today we're going to talk about the Lynn rerun and if you should honestly pull on this rerun with what we know is coming in the future, aka Fiona. Now, there are reasons to pull and there's reasons not to pull, whether you have Lynn or whether you don't have Lynn, and it'll be mainly geared more towards free to play or free-ish to play. So let's talk about the Lynn rerun. Should you pull Lynn? And the answer might be no, and more likely is going to be no. Even though I'm still going to use her, I still love her, I still have her matrices. She's one of the best weapons you can get for any team comp. Now, there's two reasons why I'm saying no right out the gate, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. Is one, we had Mommy Fiona come out, and she completely changed the game. Now, I'm running a very broken build here. I'm running double aberration with single Fenrir, which does work. It works for me. I think it'll work for a lot of free to play, and it's a pretty nice comp in all honesty. The spamming skills. Like such a copium build, right? It's just not going to do as much damage as mono comps and a few others, especially if you're at A6. So whales, if you're looking at this going like, oh, well, of course those other characters are going to do better, but most players out there are free to play or free-ish to play. Okay, now why do I say no initially before we really talk about team comps? Well, let's just run through some of the team comps real quick, right? Say you're a fire team, which Lynn isn't really using the fire team anyways, but you're going to do it anyways. Say you have Annabella, right? Annabella requires land, especially in the A1 land. If you want to keep your fire team damage high, you've got to get an A1 land because it's going to affect the way that Annabella uses her ammunition. So that's a must pick right there. Another one is if you're a Volt team. Now, you could make TN your primary DPS. That is a possibility. But Fenrir really should be your primary DPS and is one of the best primary DPSs. Now, talking about Fenrir specifically, just real quick, if you're playing the run rainbow build, which would be like Fenrir, Lynn, Saki, you do have to pull Lynn because that combination does not work with Fiona because Lynn is the only one that gives the resonance so Saki can get the A1 reset for Fenrir. Now we're talking about Frost. Frost is probably the most adaptable team you can do. If you have Frigg, Saki, Alice, you're probably good to go. You could do Saki, Alice, Icarus. You're probably good to go there too. But you could also do Saki, Alice, Lynn, and you could do Alice, Icarus, Lynn. So that is a possibility as well. That's if you're deciding to go in on every Frost character or you're stopping at Alice. If you stopped at Alice and you're waiting for the next tier, which as a free-to-play or as a light spender, you should honestly be skipping tiers because you're not going to be able to pull every single character, and you should be thinking about getting some matrices at some point, but that's for a whole nother video. And then for the physical team, you have Umi. Now, Umi's going to be your primary DPS. Now, Umi does require a decent amount of stars, in my opinion, but you've probably been able to tell as A0 or A1 Lyra, you're probably not doing the best DPS, and you may have Claudia and a few others, so you're probably pulling Umi to be more of a primary DPS. So Lynn, Umi, Claudia would be a perfectly viable team. Now, on all those teams I said right there, besides the Rainbow team, Fiona fits in there perfectly. She raises the damage of everything, and she raises the damage of, and she gives you an off ability skill. Speaking of off ability skill, your skill to hit that subscribe button. If you do like this video, hit that subscribe. I do appreciate you. Now, this isn't really a Fiona ability, but you can see, so you can see here, I have this X ability while I'm on Fiona, but if I change the Fenrir, you see I have my claws out right now, I still have that X ability. So Fiona allows you to have multiple abilities, essentially two abilities at any given time. One that's usable on all characters at all times, and then one that's usable on her own. She also resets her skill cooldowns on discharge. Now, this isn't really a Fiona video. We'll talk about that more in detail, but did she increase my damage a ton? She did. And if I was to choose right this second, it would probably be Fiona. Now, saying that real quick, even though we have a Lynn rerun in global right now, when Fiona comes out, you will probably get another Lynn rerun. So this is the reason I'm kind of saying don't pull right this second, because if Fiona comes out, and we get another Lynn rerun, well, then you might be able to pick it up. You might be able to pick it up if you decide that you need it. Okay, then quickly, another point about Fiona, and you're probably wondering about the team composition I have right now, is that she does get this alter resonance, which increases attack by 30% and increases your alter resistance by 60%. Now, this is pretty interesting because what they try to do is they try to give you a general attack increase across the board. It doesn't really pan out as well as running like double fire plus Fiona, double volt plus Fiona. But what it does do, it does allow free to play to be a lot easier to build these comps, because you can pull an A0 Fiona, you can pull an A0 Lynn, and you can just go, you can go ham on your primary DPS. Maybe you pull like an A6 Fenrir. I know that's a lot. Maybe like an A3 or something like that, right? This allows you to focus in on some of those other characters than on focusing in on your altered characters. Now, altered characters, even though they have decent shatter and charge across the board, this is the exact same as Lynn's, they're not going to shatter very great, and I guess their charge is pretty decent, especially when you're in Lynn's Moonlight realm. But the shatter is not that good, to the point that it's not going to outpace someone who's good at shatter. Like Fenrir has like a 14.0 shatter, right? Okay, so now that we've really talked about that, should you honestly pull Lynn? In my opinion, once again, it's to wait. But if you already own a Lynn and you're looking to take your damage a little bit higher, you would have to at least pull her to A3, in my opinion. That A3 is going to give you a lot more damage. It's going to increase the duration of Moonlight Realm. It's going to allow you to do a lot more with her. It's going to make it so you don't have to switch to her as often. And then obviously if you can get her to A5 or A6, it's going to increase your damage. But I can't justify a lot of people pulling Lynn right now. She's absolutely amazing. Okay, so what we know about Fiona and what we know about everything else, there's a couple of things I just want to say as my follow-up to the end of this video. One, I would not pull Lynn's matrices anymore at this point, considering we know what Fiona's matrices are. Now, once again, we don't know what they're going to look like in global. They may completely change them into the ground to the point that they don't matter. But then once again, Lynn will probably get a rerun when Fiona's out and when that matters. Now, will that hurt you now with your progression? It will, but I think it's better to make a more logical decision later, especially considering we have all this future knowledge, and especially considering we know that Fiona's matrices are pretty cracked. Quickly, let's just talk about Fiona's matrices. After successfully dealing damage, increases attack by 30% for 30 seconds. That means you only have to attack once. It can be on any character. It lasts 30 seconds. You can swap to another character. It still stays there. So effectively works in the background. When using Benediction Resonance, casting your technique will increase final damage by 40%. That is huge for 20 seconds. If you when you're not in Benediction. When you're in Benediction, it'll increase the final damage buff of 20%. And this applies to your teammates. So if you're a healer or you're a tank, which by the way, I guess I didn't really mention that. If you're a healer or a tank, you probably just need to go get Fiona instead of Lynn. That's going to help you out a lot more. All right, I want to sum up my final thoughts. Let's just break this down by everything that we can throw at it. One, if you're a new player or you're just getting into this game and you're just jumping in at Lynn and all that goodness, go ahead and pull Lynn. She's going to help you a lot. There's so much content to do. You got to pull her. She's going to help you out a lot with all that content. Two, if you're a free-to-play player or light spender that have been playing since the dawn of time and you still haven't gotten your primary DPS for those comps that you're trying to build, that's still your priority than pulling Lynn as of this moment. Now, if you can afford to pull both, I guess that's okay, but I would highly suggest you think about Fiona. Now, healers and tanks, no matter what, do not pick Lynn. You've got to go for Fiona. She's going to help you a lot with rounding out that tank squad and rounding out that healing squad. And we'll talk about that more in detail when Fiona actually gets here. Now, if you already have Lynn and you have her at like A2 or A0, it might be worth getting her to A1, A3, holding off. Once again, holding off on those matrices as of this moment, unless you really want to push the boundaries. And if you're a big old whale, we know you're going to pull all of them anyway. So just go ahead and just get it anyways. So hopefully that kind of summed it up. That was kind of a mishmash of just my random thoughts. I wasn't expecting them to release a character like Fiona, who just completely changed the game. Like, she completely power crept everything in one single character. Like, that's a character you release at like major patches at like 3.0, 3.1. Not a character that you introduce that early, but I guess they had to do it. I don't know why. Well, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I do appreciate you. And fist bump from me to you.